In today's video, we're spending the night on the European sleeper train in a private compartment as we'll travel across Europe from Amsterdam to Prague, passing some of Europe's most scenic landscapes. But is spending more than 12 hours worth the journey? Let's find out as we'll take the European sleeper all the way to Prague. Hi guys, welcome from Amsterdam Central Station. I am here because I am going to be boarding the longest train journey I've ever taken in my life. I'm taking the European Sleeper Night Train to Prague. It's about a 12-hour journey. The train was originally about to leave at 10:30. However, it has been delayed until I think like half an hour, so we might leave at 11, bringing us into Prague, I guess tomorrow at 12 or something like that as well. I've never taken a night train. This is my first time. I have a private comfort cabin, so I'm really excited to see what it's like and take you guys along on this journey. Amsterdam Centraal Station is arguably one of the most beautiful train station buildings in the world. Opened in 1889, it was designed by architect Pierre Cuypers, who also designed the famous Rijksmuseum. Today it remains one of the busiest rail stations in the Netherlands, linking national trains as well as many international routes. To enter the platforms, you must scan your ticket at one of these gate barriers, but for some reason our e-ticket didn't scan, so we had to ask an employee for help. Our train departed from platform 8A, about 30 minutes late, even though the screens only mentioned a 15-minute delay. A few minutes past 11, our train finally glided into the station. These trains are actually quite unique. They are pretty old, and they're basically vintage trains that have been refurbished, giving them quite an old-fashioned but unique look. This train route actually starts in Brussels and stops in Antwerp and Rotterdam before arriving at Amsterdam Centraal. We boarded and settled into our private compartment, which can actually sleep up to 5 people. It has 2 couches and 3 fold-out beds, and you are provided with bed linen. Under the seat you'll also find a ladder that you can use to climb up into the bunk beds. You'll also find a big fold-out table that I don't really understand the use for, since there are other smaller fold-out tables that I think are way nicer. There are power outlets and you can control the temperature in the train. And there's also a button to ask for assistance from a steward. I do have to say that every employee on the train was incredibly friendly and helpful, and I felt very welcome the entire journey. You can also control the lighting in the room, and there are also bedside lights, but unfortunately mine didn't work. I know many people are worried about safety on sleeper trains like this, but I felt very safe the entire journey on board. But you can of course lock the door if you want to. We received 2 small bottles of complimentary still water, and since the train doesn't have a gastro bar on board, you can only order snacks and drinks through the QR code on this menu, but that service only works until 11 PM. Fortunately, a lovely steward allowed us to still order something because of the delay. I believe they are working on a gastro bar, which I think would really improve the overall experience of being on board. Let's check out the bathroom. For a train bathroom, it was okay. Nothing too fancy, but it wasn't dirty. After all, you're stuck on here for 12 hours, so a clean toilet is the bare minimum. Next to the toilet, there was also a little compartment that you could lock yourself into, which I suppose is meant to freshen up, do your hair, or brush your teeth, which I much prefer doing in here instead of having to freshen up in a train toilet. After having brushed my teeth, I went to sleep, or at least I tried to. I'm still quite impressed that I was able to fall asleep, because after all you're on a rocky moving train and let's just say the beds aren't the softest. However, I woke up in time to see us arriving in Berlin Hauptbahnhof, which was actually nice because this meant that I was awake in time to catch some views of the historic old town of our next stop in Dresden. From Dresden, you'll get the best views of the journey as you glide along the Elbe River and get great views of the Saxon-Switzerland National Park, which is arguably one of the most beautiful national parks of Central Europe. At about 9 AM, the steward brought us a breakfast box, and although it was quite basic, I thought it was a really nice touch, especially with these wonderful views. On the way to Prague, we will cross the Czech border at Bad Schandau and also stop in the Czech cities of Děčín and Ústí nad Labem. At around 11 am, we finally arrived at Prague Hlavní nádraží, which is Prague's main station. Let's look at how much this route costs. You can get tickets from 80 euros, but if you want a private compartment upgrade, prices start at 280 euros, meaning that you can actually make it as expensive as you want to. Overall, I think that taking this train was a great experience, largely because of the amazing views you get in the morning. Being Dutch, I of course love seeing mountains whenever I can. Let me know if you would take this journey in the comments, and if you haven't yet already, please subscribe and leave a like, and I'll see you in the next video. Doei doei!